Hi guys, welcome to my show, Sunshine the City Show. Max, your host. Now we live in a society of apologies. We have the left with a new movement, Black Lives Matter, because middle-aged upwards white people are generally racist, and generally we're not, but this is just the sign of the times. Unfortunately, they live in America, and the apartheid only happened in 1969. And I live in New Zealand, and we didn't really have these issues, but these issues are hitting worldwide. Young people are marching. They're just sick of racism in America with Trump, because Trump was called a racist by the media. Well, it's affecting everybody in social media now. It gets to the point where guys are using different letters to represent different words, and if you don't catch on very quickly, you could be considered a racist because that word could mean something else. You thought it meant a girl, and because they changed the name with letters, because they can't use because of this autocorrect, you can get into a lot of trouble, because the English language is quite a tough language, and we're in a lot of trouble. If we can get baited by these guys quite easily, because they're upsetting people from stopping them from streaming, and then when they come and stream, they're on all the time. As a fan, because we create fans in these things, create streaming. I mean, I have a lot of hate too, partly my own fault for trying to advertise it. You advertise your channel, you get haters. And you get lots of haters because there are a lot of Antifa type like people, young people generally, Antifa like types out there, and there's a lot of racism now in today's world. And you think, well, what am I talking about racism? I'm talking about reverse racism. So when you're starting to hate on a race, you're starting to hate a different culture like whites, and you're starting to like pick on a category of whites, male and older, then you're being racist to older white people. So I'm showing offence now to your racism, and why shouldn't I show offence to your racism? Because you're being racist. You're assuming that I'm a racist, that you're assuming I'm seeing colour when I'm seeing people. So I'm getting peeved off because you're telling me that I need to see colour now, and you shouldn't be seeing colour. Seeing colour is racism. So when you're telling me that I should see that you're black, that's not true. That shouldn't be the case. I shouldn't have to see colour in you. I should just have to see a human being, right? This is the world we live in now. We live in this crazy world because you were picking on Trump, that you needed racism, you needed this new world order, you needed your afterbirth abortions, you needed that supply chain for the pedophiles, and you needed the euthanasia thing, you needed that to go through so you can shut us off when we get into the cyborg philosophy, when we take our COVID and we take our microchips, that we can be turned off. That World Health Organization means more than a bunch of doctors now. That's what's happening. We live in this kind of society now. Do you not see where we're going with this whole thing? And then Russia Today, what do? They launch what looked like a toilet paper roll in space, bouncing up and down in a black cloud, and it had a line around the outside of it, and no one can see it. These people that call themselves engineers can't see that it's not a capsule in space. I don't know what's going on. Why you can't see this thing? This is the problem when you're born to the ball. You're born to the ball. It's in your mind. Everything's in your mind. You've been brainwashed from birth, and you want me to see a psychiatrist because I believe, no, that's just nuts, guys. I mean, seriously, psychiatrists have got more problems than a normal person, right? Psychiatrists are the people that are hearing people's problems, and nobody's hearing their problems. And now they say, well, they have to see each other and have talk to each other because they've got horrendous. Counsellors have more problems than the people they're interviewing. They say about church leaders, church preachers, same thing. They have more problems than the people that are giving them the problems. There was a guy I knew that had to go around the church ministers, and he said, you wouldn't believe the problems that these church ministers have. They have more problems than the people in the congregation. I all hail to church leaders and what you do, but saying that somebody's better than you, that saying that you have a problem. We're living in this culture now of I'm saying you're mad, I'm saying you're mad, and I'm going to put you away. It's just nuts, guys. In the end, with this Christian movement that's going on and what you're doing with the hotels and how so those people in lockdowns. So for airline travel in this COVID situation, you have to go into a lockdown hotel situation for 2 weeks. And there has been was a lady who jumped the wall and they got her 2 blocks over. For some reason they've been able to track, but then they've got these cameras up. They've got photo recognition cameras up. So in Auckland, all in the central. So they could probably see her escaping and were able to follow her on the cameras, probably. Facial recognition cameras are already there in New Zealand. That's how we're able to track people down. And when you've got a facial recognition system like what you have, and then you're going to do a lockdown till we get this COVID, and when we get the COVID, we're allowed freedoms again, right? But then you're going to blame the Christians, right, who are not going to take the COVID because it's mark of the beast, because it's buy, sell and trade, because you're saying with the COVID we need to track and trace with it. So you want to put marks on our body or marks in our head. What we should be allowed to do is have a society where we have a freedom to say, hey, I'm not going to take a mark on my body. You're not going to. But they're talking about measuring the temperature and measuring the heartbeat now. With a virus that's actually quite fake. I mean, the statistics, you looking for, like in America, they said it's 140, 150,000, maybe 160 now. And they're after the Fed funding. So Trump had to change the statistics. He wanted the statistics to not go where it's going, to go to the CDC, so these statistics can be measured properly. And people are saying, well, there's millions dead in the world, but it's like, well, if someone dies of the flu now, they don't even test it, they just say it's COVID. If someone dies of cancer or lung and they had a little COVID in it, they just say, well, that person died of COVID. Well, you know, if most of the people are dying in nursing homes, and they put sick people in New York deliberately in nursing homes, and so you're fiddling the stats so that you're getting more people dying of these things, right? And so we live in a world now where statistics have been fiddled, where throughout the world where Black Lives Matter, we think we're doing something to stop the racism, stop the Trump racism and that kind of thing. And Republicans, we had Antifa jumping the crowds. We had Proud Boys start up because the Antifa were attacking the crowds and beating them up. They had people chasing and beating them with batons. And then Proud Boys came and started to interact with the Antifa, and then Antifa got more and more angry. So what did they do? They banned Proud Boys, right? They called them a terrorist organisation because it's politically incorrect to ban Antifa right here, because media backed up Antifa back then, right? They really, really backed them up because Antifa were the good guys, anti-fascists. They hadn't had a Chaztown shooting 300 bullets into black guys. They hadn't had a Chaztown refusing the medical team to come into Chaz City to rescue the black guys. You don't understand what's going on right now. You don't understand this is a political Marxist movement. It's a Marxist movement. It's Freemasons. It's New World Order, CIA, part of it. The cop, George Floyd, they knew each other. They were part of the assassins, but they were security guards, and security guards are usually assassins. But a couple of months before, they were both security guards working for the same company, and then somehow you're a security guard, then you're a policeman in 2 months. 2 months. So either he's working 2 jobs, a cop working security guard. I doubt it. I seriously doubt if you're a cop, you know, you've got enough stress in your life, you're not going to do a security guard job as well. But they reckon that the cop was definitely CIA, New World Order, backing Antifa because they need a resistance. They need the New World Order right now. They need civil war. Civil war had to be, in order for New World Order to be created, they needed several things to happen. They needed a civil war in America. They needed a war. War creates chaos, and chaos, you rise up and you solve it. That's the New World Order. You solve the war, then you're the good guys, right? and then you have civil war between the white and the black. You get nationalism, and you get Trump's a racist whether or not he's a racist. Once you label somebody's a racist, they're a racist no matter what they said, eh? In their mind, everything's coloured, everything's racism. And when you're doing the Black Lives marches, you're just making these people more crazy because all they see is colour. And white people don't want to be like that. They just want to talk to anyone, not have any racism issues, to follow their own path. They don't need people. They just who they are. We go to work. We go to the gym. We don't think race anymore. That's not what goes on. I mean, you're wanting me to think race, and that's what Black Lives Matter is all about, getting people to think about racism and that I'm this colour, I'm that colour, and you everyone's just going mad right now. You're all going mad, and until we're not going to fix this until you just calm down and just live your life. Live your life. Don't get involved in politics to understand it. If you don't understand it, don't get involved in it. And that goes for our leaders in New Zealand. Don't understand politics of Trump, don't get involved in it because you don't understand it. Thank you.